Hey guys, it's Ted. We are back. This young lady is coming to us from all over the world. I'll let her tell you where. I'm super excited to have Sarisha Naidoo on the show. We're going to talk about how you don't just have to weather the storm, you can thrive. So we're going to talk about coaching. We're going to give you some tips on how you can get through. We've all been dealing with some crazy stuff, 2020, and now we're just looking for some respite and some ways to build on a better 2021. Welcome. How are you, Sarisha?
I'm very well, thanks, Ted. Thank you for having me on your show. And hello to all your listeners this evening here in South Africa, sunny, warm South Africa. If I was back home in the UK, it would be freezing cold and would be snow. So I'm really grateful to be here and this lovely warm weather.
I was telling you before, I was telling Sarisha before we went live that I love South African wine. But I did ask her if the seasons were different because I remember enough about basic weather and geography that the seasons are different depending on where you're at. So it is summer in South Africa. So welcome and thank you for going later in the evening. I think your topic is super important. I want to take a deep dive into that, but before I do, share a little bit about your journey and about you with the audience.
So Ted, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try and nip it in the bud. I come from South Africa, born and raised. I moved to Germany for a few years with my then husband. And then his job became permanent. So I resigned from my job in South Africa practicing law. And we moved there permanently for 3 years. And then we moved to England because his company moved. And I became a stay-at-home mom. So I gave up my career and became a stay-at-home mom. 2 beautiful girls aged 12 and 16 now. And left my career as a law, became a stay-at-home mom.
What was that like for you? I mean, I know it's, to me, I think being a parent is just number one, but what was it like to leave a career that you had spent so much time working toward?
You know, Ted, being a solicitor in South Africa, I was really stressed. We have a lot of crime. I used to go work home 6 a.m. in the morning for 6:30 a.m. meetings, come home at 7, cook dinner, start again working 9 to 12, and then it goes again. Weekend work and things like that. I eventually moved to corporate, but we had a similar thing because I sat on lots of boards, lots of meetings, lots of learning, lots of presentations. Never really had time. I felt stressed all the time. So when I had time for that reprieve of 6 months, which I took unpaid leave for my work, it was a moment just to rest. And then we said, well, when my husband at the time became permanent, we said, well, let's start a family. I was already 31 then. And I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity. We'll travel, settle down, have family. I was quite happy with that. Just touring museums, doing lots of reading, relaxing whilst he worked. Then when we moved to the UK, I was still quite happy with it, making new friends, in the whole thing with kids. And because in the UK, it's different from how people work in England. There's always little play groups, church groups, little gym things for your kids. And you're like, oh, my child is so great. Look at him. That kind of thing. And I really enjoyed it. By the time my daughter was 4, I became a bit, frustrated. So by then we were planning to have a second. So I did all sorts of alternate courses like pottery, interior design, baking, those kinds of things, My ex-husband said at the time, why should both of us be stressed? Childcare costs a fortune. We had another child. And he said, don't go back to work. We should do what we did for the first for the second, which I was kind of happy. And in between my frustrations, I started little bits of businesses and things like that. Buying and selling stuff, just doing the odd work. I started becoming involved in some MLM companies and things like that. Just dibs and dabs, dabbling in and out of things to make myself happy and feel like I was wanted. But I ran the house in its entirety because my ex-husband did not be involved with the admin. He left all of that to me, which I was happy to do. Then my marriage imploded. And
sorry. I had a feeling that's where we were going with this. I'm sorry.
I know that's all right. I'm over that, and I've moved past it. We were married 15 years. So he had an affair with my ex-best friend. And
my God. Wow.
And
That's a storm to weather.
it is indeed. And I decided went on too long, and there was lots of betrayals. It went on for too long for me not to know. I suppose I knew, but I didn't know. I was too naive, and I lied to myself. I didn't trust my natural intuition and my gut, as we all forget to do.
Yes.
So we decided to separate, and my divorce only came through a year ago, to be honest. But I'm almost divorced now. Separated from him 6 years,
Wow.
and this is what inspired me on my journey. Whilst we were going through things, all the turmoil, I thought, what do I want to do with my life? So I had retrained the 2 years before we split in compliance, in financial compliance in the UK through Manchester Business School, and thought, okay, fine, I'm going to go to compliance. It's law-based. I understand the background. It's going to be easy. So I did some consulting work for one of the dads at the school. I thought, I really enjoy the client interaction, but I don't enjoy the work.
Right.
So I backed away from that. Then there was a free event on Facebook, and it was all weekend. And when I went there, I really resonated with what the coach was saying. And I went all in. £7,000 later, I signed up for everything the man offered, right up to my master's in coaching. Went to Bali and I did all the trainings 4 or 5 times, repeated them, and just got involved in this very mindful community where people were inspired and, motivated, empowering people, basically changing the way people think and feel about themselves. And that really got me thinking about, what do I want to do with my life? What is my purpose? What makes me happy? And I decided what makes me happy is to help other people on their journeys, to access their self-confidence, to enjoy life and achieve goals and live their dreams. And that is when I retrained to become a coach.
Do you think, let me ask you, because I think a lot of people get to that moment. They get storms like you faced. Do you think that you would have realized your purpose or your passion to help people if you had been on the same career trajectory that you were on prior? Did you always know this, or is it something that came as a blessing from being at home and having some time to think, and then, of course, being faced with the storm that you were faced with?
Well, to be honest, my first choice at university was social work. Missed the interview, got in for my third choice, which was law, and then passed every year and stuck with it.
Amazing. So you always had a passion. You had manifested in different ways.
Yes.
And now you coach. So tell us about that, because I love this. The reason why I love to hear the stories is there are many people who have either gone through what you're going through, similar, or are experiencing it right now, and they are lost. They don't have any clue how to weather the storm, let alone thrive. And so you're a success story. And I'll say that. You haven't said that, but in my mind, you're a success story. And I think we need to applaud those more often. But I think it's important for you to share what you're sharing, because people really do want to find a way out of the storm, and they want to not just survive it, they want to thrive in it.
The thing is, to be honest with you, I went through a very, very hard time. That's part left out of my story. When I split with my husband, I loved him dearly. I never expected that. I thought I'd be with him to the end. Perfect marriage, perfect home. We had everything in life could ever offer. I did a lot of charity work as well in that time when I was a stay-at-home mom, because I thought we were so blessed. So I also, when we divorced or we split up, I felt that I never want to be bitter. I never want to be that better person, and just because I got divorced, be better. So when this opportunity came to me, I embraced it. And I want people to know it's never too late to change your lives, no matter whatever your age is. I believe everyone has the power to do great things. And I live to help others. I do so much of free work. I even do free discovery calls for up to an hour with my clients. Even if they don't sign on, I love listening to the stories. And even if I make that 1% change in their lives, it makes a difference to me. It makes a difference to my day. Because people are stuck in a rut. They don't know how to navigate the struggles in life. And I think I've helped countless of individuals break through certain barriers, keeping them back from the success that they really want to achieve and live the life of their dreams. Because I think people want a life of freedom. They want happiness, they want fulfillment. And people have different ideas of what freedom, happiness, thriving is. They just need to have an understanding. It's not some rainbow at the end of the tunnel. It's something they have to work to. It's a state of mind. And
Yes.
it's
Oh, I like that, because I was going to ask you if you had some pointers for them on how to thrive, because I think people, the storm, you've crashed, and now you've crash landed on the island, you survived, you're soaking wet, you're miserable. And so the survival is one thing, but actually thrive. I love that you just described it as a mindset.
because even now with COVID, there's practical ways I think people can actually thrive in this time, as well as in any storm that they're facing. We at the moment we have less structure, we have our social norms taken from us. But I feel in order to thrive, you need to find a way of getting more discipline and structure in your life. And you can do this purposefully. And I'll say you've got to spend some time clarifying your goals. By this I mean try and put simple things into place like your daily goals. What is it you want to achieve today? Or even yet, what are the top three things I want to achieve today with the hardest task first? And this will give you a strong sense of satisfaction when things are completed. The
Yes.
same with
Why is that important, do you think? I'm a big checklist person, and I
Mhm.
feel better when I'm checking things off. I don't know if I'm weird or what that is, but I'm motivated to get through the list. If I have a list to go through and I get to check things off, it actually is good for me.
I,
I feel like I'm making progress.
I think it's a mindset thing because knowing what your goals are is critical in order for you to understand that you're winning so that you can switch off. And that's why I say to people to do this at the start of your day and at the start of the week. Your goals should be daily and weekly, and then you can define your wins. And then you allow yourself permission to switch off at the weekend. It's a way to deal with it when you're trying to weather the storm, and the biggest storm is COVID. I really think clarifying and spending time to clarify your goals is really important.
Yes. Now, what if my goals? Do you talk about maybe making the goals detailed? Is it better for people to come up with long-reaching, lofty goals first, and then fill in the blanks? Give them maybe an idea of, because people get caught up; they don't know how to set goals. Sarisha, they have no idea, and then when they do it, they don't do it right, and they don't do it in a way that's productive, and then they end up getting discouraged and they don't do it again. So maybe you can give them some pointers on that.
Ted, as part of my work as a coach, I also do consulting work for businesses. And, they do business plans, but we always try to reverse engineer it. There's nothing bad or wrong. There's no wrong and right about how you do your goals. But what I would say is think about what is your lofty big goal. Say for it's January now, in December, and then work it back quarterly, then work it back monthly, then weekly, and then daily. But if you don't want to go so far and it all becomes too overwhelming, work it day by day and weekly. That is the biggest thing. If you don't know what, have your daily goal, what you want to achieve, and your weekly goal. So you define your wins for the end of the week, and that gives you that feeling that you have more structure and that you have discipline and that you're achieving something. And it's critical to make you have the small wins and to celebrate those tasks or wins that you have done.
Yes, the celebration. I think people are so caught up in worrying about, well, if I celebrate my victories, people are going to think I'm hoity-toity or I'm full of myself, I'm a bragger. And in reality, all you're doing is celebrating something that it's okay to celebrate, I guess is my thing. When I consult with people, I try to give them an idea of just like exactly what you said. Make it so it's manageable. If you're just learning how to do this task, you setting yourself up to write an entire year's worth of goals, you're probably going to get discouraged. So start small, like Sarisha is talking about. If it has to be weekly and daily, then try to set that up. And if you have to start with just daily, but do something to move forward and keep the mindset in the thrive mode rather than the panic. I'm no good. I can't do this. I wasn't cut out for this. I have no purpose. I mean, all the things that I've heard people tell me when I consult with them, it goes on in your head.
I think that's so critical and so important. But the one I want to mention it at this time, when people are going through a storm, storm in your personal life, whether it's your relationship, your work, or COVID, or any other thing, the one thing you need to do before stressing and overwhelming yourself is to exercise self-care for yourself. And that will put you in the right mindset, and then go about setting your goals. Because when you exercise self-care and you love yourself, and your mindset is calm, then it'll be easier to set your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and then yearly goals. And
So
then
before we head out, I want to ask you what I love to ask guests, especially guests who have insight like you.
yes.
What is something that Sarisha does every day that she either starts her morning, how you start your morning, how you end your day, how you address your goals? Because I think people don't even know, Sarisha, how to, like I wake up, I'm gratitude oriented. That's how I start my day. I thank God. I'm a faith person. I thank God. You can thank the universe, thank whomever you want for the things that I wake up thankful for. Sometimes I'm not in the mood, people. I'm just being honest. I don't feel like being thankful. But it's a repetition kind of thing for me, and it helps sort of set the tone for my day. What is somebody like you who's in this practice, really working with people all the time? What do you do as a human being to take care of your day and to get it started right?
So I have a bit of a routine in the morning, and I know lots of people struggle with it, but it's taken me a while to get into, but I have a routine. The number one thing I do first is every morning is I meditate. It just sets me up for the day. It gives me that calm sense of being. And then I do take a minute to do a bit of gratitude journaling and say 10 things that I'm thankful for, whether it's waking up and breathing, opening my eyes. I've had problems with my eyes, so I'm always thankful for my sight. And then I do a little prayer. So I do some affirmations. And then I start my day. And the number one
Love
other
it.
thing to change the mood is exercise.
So listen, guys, what I want you to hear her say, and you're a little backed up, so I'm not over talking you, and I apologize. So the delay's there, and I feel like I'm over talking you.
No, don't
What
worry.
you're saying is so important because she's just told you some very simple things that you can start with. So imagine somebody who's practicing this. Sarisha's practicing this as part of her life's journey, her purpose. If she can get up and do those simple things and create something, so can you. And so I just want to encourage people to know that what she's talking about are very simple things that you can set up that make sense for you and your daily grind, your daily start. Doesn't have to be exactly like that, but if you have no other ideas, why not start with somebody else's and maybe follow that gratitude journal or that prayer or meditation?
I know, Ted, one thing I do say to my clients, if you can't do it and you struggle with these things, do each thing for 1 minute, even if it's movement for 1 minute, meditation for 1 minute, journaling for 1 minute, some stretching for 1 minute, and maybe some positive affirmations. Just 1 minute each. And that makes such a difference. We all have 24 hours in a day, but 5 minutes doesn't take much time out of your day.
And it makes such a difference, right?
It does. It's absolutely amazing. So much calming. It puts you in the best mood to start your day. And in the evening, I do a similar thing. As long as I meditate and thank God for a wonderful day and all the pleasures that I've experienced in the day, and I let go of all the negatives and say tomorrow's going to be a new day, and then wipe the slate clean.
So you're starting fresh in the morning.
Every day.
I love that. I hadn't thought of the blessing and releasing of the day and moving to the next day. That's good. I'm going to implement that.
I think that's so important because some days we have bad days.
We do.
And, people are facing a crisis and everybody responds differently to how things are being dealt with. So I think that's so, so important at this time.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, Sarisha, if somebody wants a consult, wants you to coach them, wants to learn more about what you do, what's the best way for them to reach you?
On my website and on my Facebook page, you can book a Calendly appointment with me with a free discovery call. I am more than open to that, as well as on my Instagram, and that will be Navigate Life Coach. So you can find me there, and I hopefully will post the links from the show onto my pages as well onto your post, Ted.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're a joy.
I want to leave you with one statement.
Please.
I want to tell you, your listeners, you must remember one thing. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever would. And that's a quote by Susie Kassem, and I love it. So I feel that don't doubt yourself. Just give everything a go. Just give everything a go.
Beautiful. That is a great way to kick off the weekend, you guys. Thank you, Sarisha, for being patient. Thank you for sharing your journey and the heartfelt parts of that. I felt it, and I know that you are thriving and you're helping so many other people thrive after the storm. Thank you so much. You guys reach Sarisha at navigatelifecoach.com, or I've tagged her on every possible social media platform, or you can reach out to me and I will get you in touch. Thank you so much for staying up late for me, Sarisha. It was worth it for us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for tuning to the show. Thanks, Ted.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.